Hello and welcome to the Sharlayan Forum. My name is Chris and I am back from vacation, which means that I'm ready to get back into the swing of content creation. But before I get into the really long stuff, I wanted to just do a quick video kind of talking about what I'm doing to get ready for Dawntrail since it's coming at us in just a little over 5 weeks, which seems like a long time, but if I've learned anything, it's that 5 weeks is probably going to happen really quick. So super excited. And just wanted to go over some things that I'm doing to prepare and what you might want to do to get ready for a new expansion. So first and foremost, make sure that you are completely caught up on your MSQ. Go through the game and make sure that you have all your main story quests done up to the end of the most recent patch, 6.58, I guess it is. Make sure that your main scenario guide says to be continued. If you have that disabled, you can find it in the settings to turn that back on. And just make sure that says to be continued, because if you're not all the way caught up, then you will not be able to start on Dawntrail when it comes out. Secondly, if you're planning to play Viper or Pictomancer, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that you have gear sets pre-made for them. So here I have, for instance, my Viper gear set. Since it's sharing gear with Ninja, obviously I just have to have it set as Ninja right now. You know, you've got your augmented Crypt Lurker gear from Yulmore. That's the level 80 gear sets that obviously Pictomancer and Viper are going to start at level 80, so that's your best bet. So having those pre-made and ready to go will save you a little bit of time when the game launches if you're planning on immediately grinding one of those two jobs or both of those jobs. Having them pre-made, pre-melded, ready to go is going to save you a ton of time. If you've pre-ordered Dawntrail, you'll have the Azima's earring. That's a good EXP boost that you'll get. Or if you're like me and you're maybe planning on doing Bozja to level these jobs to 90, you could have your Bozjan earring if you have that equipped, because that'll give you a bonus as well as a haste buff, which is really useful inside of that content. Otherwise, the Azima's earring is great. That'll give you a good bonus and you'll be ready to go for that slot. Something you may also want to do is get gear sets at certain breakpoints for those jobs going forward into 90. So here I have a level 85 gear set for Viper. This is all just made from the Palika gear set from the Vanaspati dungeon. And then I also have a level 87 gear set that's made from the Katissos gear from Catissius Hyperborea dungeon. And these are the best breakpoints to go for just because the gear passes the item level of the augmented Crypt Lurker at level 85 from Vanaspati. So at that point, the gear that you're getting from these dungeons will be better. So if you really want to prepare like I have, then you'll have those gear sets ready to go for both jobs. And again, don't worry about the earring slot, because that'll be covered either by the Azima's earring or your Bozjan earring, whichever one you're going to be using. Now, as far as weapons go, obviously Viper and Pictomancer are not in the game yet, so we cannot get their weapons from those dungeons. If you are dungeon grinding when those jobs release, then you'll have a chance to get them, obviously. But otherwise, you might want to take a look at your crafting and gathering. If you have a crafter and gatherer leveled, obviously you'll be able to craft those weapons once they release. So we don't know exactly what materials they're going to require, but if we look at other weapons in that same category, we can get an idea of what they might require. So I've went ahead and pre-stocked some of those materials just in case that they do require them, and I can always just grab whichever ones I'm missing that morning and make sure that I'm ready to craft those weapons when I need them. Another great way to use the time between expansions right now is to level up any jobs that you don't already have leveled that you're interested in playing, especially since we got the live letter and the job action trailer. You got a little bit of a taste of how some of these jobs might play going forward. So anything that you're interested in that you might want to try, now is the time to level it and get it ready. As far as currencies, really you just want to cap as many things as you can. So I've got poetics capped. I've got my causalities capped. I'm working on getting my comedies capped. I had to buy a few pieces of gear. If you're interested in PvP, get those capped. You really want to focus on capping your sacks of nuts. That's an easy thing to do with hunt trains. And then your allied seals and centurio seals are good secondary currencies. They probably won't be very useful for new stuff, but they'll be great for previous things. And then bicolor gemstones, a lot of people will tell you to cap those, but personally, I don't try to cap them because I know for a fact I'm going to have to be grinding the fates in the new expansion anyway to get my shared fate level up in those zones. So as long as you have some, so that you can immediately buy things if you're interested in them, or if you want to make some gil, then you'll be fine, because you're going to end up doing those fates more than likely to get your shared fate level up and also just to level classes. For crafters and gatherers, you're going to want to cap your scripts. Probably a new script will come out, but if materials get added, this is going to be an easy way to pick up materials quickly and maybe grab the new master recipes or whatever gets added on launch. It'll be an easy way to make sure that you have that foot in the door right away. You're also going to want to look at your gil. Now, gil is not something that's super useful, generally speaking, but if you're going to be buying food, materia, anything like that on launch, you're going to need money for it, right? So having some gil is an easy thing to do. Gather up a little bit of money and just stockpile it so that when the expansion comes out, you're ready to go. Company seals are another great thing to do. We will more than likely see some new materials added. We will more than likely see, fingers crossed, copium at least, is the Shadowbringers box for the minions and mounts, the 5.0 box that we can use those seals for. And if nothing else, they're a great way to make gil. So capping those or getting them very high before the expansion launches might not be a bad idea. Ventures, of course, always important. You want to make sure your retainers are working, get them leveled up as quickly as possible. So having a big pile of ventures ready to go is very useful. And then MGP is something, it's a good thing to have for if they add new rewards to the MGP, which I'm sure they will, but just a good thing to have around just in case. Another thing you're going to want to have, of course, is a level 90 gear set for the new jobs. If you're already playing Ninja and a caster, then you probably already have this done. So here's my level 90 Ninja gear set. Certainly not BIS or anything, but it's at a 650, which is what I think is going to be fine going into the expansion. So that's basically a mix of either Tome gear or the Alliance Raid gear to get you up to that point, or the enhanced crafted gear. If you really wanted to, you could obviously augment them, but keep in mind that the augmented Tome gear will be moving to Poetics when the expansion launches, so it's going to be a lot easier to get them at that point if you're trying to get those pieces. Another thing to consider is materia. Stockpiling some level 9 and 10 materia is probably a good idea. Materia is always extremely expensive at the beginning of an expansion launch, and it's usually very cheap at the end of an expansion. So gather up your materia now, and you can always transmute them at Mutamix, and he could potentially give you some 11s and some 12s, which will be worth a ton of money when the expansion comes out, and they'll also be very useful for you. So having a good stockpile of materia to sit on is always a really good idea going into an expansion, especially gathering and crafting materia. Always super, super expensive. Battle materia usually drops in price pretty quickly as the market gets flooded a little bit with people selling stuff, doing trains and things like that. But crafting and gathering, everyone's working really hard to get those sets set up at the beginning of an expansion. So these will stay expensive for an extremely long time and a very good way to make money, or just use. So something I like to do a lot is make spreadsheets. It helps me stay focused and stay organized. So here's a little peek at something I'm working on. This is my little spreadsheet, my personal spreadsheet. Just sort of breaking it down into dates and what I can do and when. So right now, what I've been focusing on the past couple weeks has been make sure I have a level 80 and 90 gear set up for Viper and Pictomancer. Getting the Vanaspati and Catissa Cyberborea gear sets that I showed earlier, making sure those are ready to go. Having all of my currencies capped. So that's something that I've been doing now. Now, beginning on June 18th, we can pick up a Wondrous Tales from Chloe. Because the Wondrous Tales has a 2-week expiration timeline, that means that you can pick one up on June 18th and you can complete it, but don't turn it in. You can hold on to it. And what that'll let you do is as soon as the early access starts on the 28th, you'll be able to hand that in on one of the new jobs or on a current job, since your level cap will be removed, and you'll get a half of level of XP instantly. And then since you are handing in an old one, you'll be able to pick up a new one immediately. So if you do this quickly enough, you can gain a level almost instantly, especially if you have your second chances stockpiled and you can just repeat a really low level, like an extreme from ARR or something, and just burn it down really quickly. You could be, an 81 Viper or a 91 on a current job, basically in 5 minutes, which is extremely valuable. So on the 18th, I highly recommend you pick up a Wondrous Tales and complete all 9 stickers, but do not hand it in until the morning of early access. the maintenance before early access is going to be 48 hours, which is really long, but I assume it's because they're going to have to be putting in obviously all the new content, but also doing the massive update for the graphics engine. So that's going to be a big maintenance and probably a huge update. So just be prepared for that. But the 25th, the game is going down on the 26th before early access. So it'll be down for 48 full hours. So on the 25th, you can do a little bit of prep on your challenge log, which is another great way to instantly gain some XP, or at least quickly gain some XP when the game launches in early access. So here's a little list of things that I have done. I believe I got most of these from a Wes Galber video, so shout out to him. You can do 2 dungeons with your duty roulette. The challenge log requires 3, so if you do 2 and then hold, you'll be ready to go. And then complete 4 total dungeons, obviously 2 not in the roulette, so that you don't overwrite that challenge. Complete 9 guild hests, give 4 player commendations, complete 16 levs, complete 14 tribal quests, complete 4 fates, and have all of that prepped so that when the game launches, all you have to do is finish all of those, do 1 of each of those things, and you'll be ready to rock and roll for your challenge log and get some early XP. So this is my checklist for the morning of early access. I'm going to be grinding Viper first thing. So I'm logging out in Ul'dah, since that's where the Viper quest starts, to make sure that I'm ready to go as soon as that pops up. So the first thing I'm going to do is unlock Viper and get ready for that. At that point, I'm going to queue into a guild hest roulette, which is probably going to be a super long queue. So in the meantime, I will go to Yulemoor and I'll buy Viper and Pictomancer weapons for level 80 using tomes. And then I'll probably go to Radz-at-Han and see if I can grab 1 more for level 90. They're usually 600 each. So if you have 2,000, you'll be able to get 3 weapons off rip. But the 4th one, you're going to have to wait a little bit. At that point, I'll turn in 4 combat leaves to complete my challenge log. I'll turn in my Wondrous Tales, pick up the new one, and clear it as quickly as I can. I'll then do a dungeon roulette to complete that challenge log. I'll commend a player there to complete that challenge log. I'll do a fate to complete that, and then I'll do some tribe quests to complete that challenge log. So all in all, you'll be able to basically get 2 levels from this in probably the first hour or so of the game being out. And, you know, that'll take you to 82 or 90, probably close to 92. I can't imagine that it'll be too close, just because the experience required is going to be huge. But an easy way to get some very quick levels. And that's pretty much it. Just wanted to go over some really quick and easy stuff that you can do to prepare for Dawntrail and just sort of get yourself ready. I'm super excited for it. Like I said, I'm back from vacation now, so I'm looking at what kind of stuff I'm going to start covering. I'll probably do another Final Fantasy XI recap, but stay tuned for more, and we'll see you all in Dawntrail.